Alright, alright. I'm letting that play out. I was letting that play out a little bit. Let me do the audio test real quick. Alright, alright. I'm letting that play out. I was letting that play out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I was letting that play out a little bit because I'm going to end up deleting that other video because it was just an intro, and then it's going to be too confusing for people trying to come in and watch the art and occult stream. So I'm going to end up deleting that, and I like this intro. I think it's nice. Kind of goes with the topic. So I wanted that to play out a little bit. So sorry about that. My power went out. If it happens again, I'm like torn between just giving up for the day or just come back on. Just probably come back on and find me because, you know, it's been rough for me. I need to make money and then pay for the electricity, so it should work. But you know what I mean? So just bear with me. Just bear with me, please. Thank you. So let's see what we're talking about here. We're going to get into art and the occult. This is a little bit different, a little bit the same. You guys know that I like to read books with you guys and just like kind of have a little chit chat and sometimes get sidetracked or whatever. And I met up with a friend of mine. Some of you guys may know him. He is known as Frank. I met up with a friend of mine, Frank, today. And he is a friend of mine. He always brings me some really, really interesting artwork and stuff. He's the one that, you know, gave me some of these books. This one's really cool. I showed you guys on the last stream. This Vampirella got me another Vampirella, which is exciting. Maybe we'll go over that in another stream. But this stream, it was this book, which he's kind of teased me about a little bit. He's shown me the cover and some of the insides of it. I mean, just like really cool stuff. Comet, can you leave me alone? Comet, leave me alone. And, I mean, just, so cool. A lot of really cool stuff. But this cover right here, look at how cool that is. And I mean, does this not just sum up Lady Alchemy? This is, bear with me is Martina's battle cry, yeah, pretty much. But this is very Lady Alchemy. Art and the occult. That is Lady Alchemy. So I think this is probably going to be another regular stream with this. Oh, look at that. It opens up right to the cover picture. So I can't wait to see what that's all about. Oh, this is at the Tate Gallery in London, if Jack is watching. Man, we were at the Tate. No? I think it was at the Tate in Liverpool. Did we go to the Tate in London ever? Anyway, so this could be a good regular, actually. So we'll do the same thing, and since this I don't have digitally, what I did was, before I got on stream, I took pictures of, like, the first chapter or so of the book, and I have it ready for you guys to go up on the, for the OBS, so that's how we'll do that, and, yeah, let's check it out. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, there's a lot of glare. Yeah, let's switch over so you guys can see. There we go. I took pictures for you guys of everything. So that is the book. Look at how cool that is. Art and the Occult. And you'll notice in this, actually, from what I see, is they have that floor, that checkered floor. It's a bit different checkered floor, and they have pillars, you know. It's always like pillars and checkered floors, and middle pillar ritual is actually an exercise in alchemy that you learn from some occult practices, and so you always see pillars and stuff, and the middle pillars, like the balanced pillar between the dark and the light, the two hemispheres, and you'll notice that on the High Priestess tarot deck. There'll be like pillars and stuff. I mean, that's what I see in this. That's my interpretation. There's the skeleton. You know, in alchemy, that's always representative of kind of like a rebirth. It's like the Death Tarot card, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's like a rebirth. It's the ending of something and a starting of a new. So, I don't know. Those are things I see in the cover. It's pretty cool. Let me just check in with you guys here. Ancient Bush. Yeah, okay. Hey, TJ, what's up? Ooh, Eduardo. He says, the art of drinking passion fruit tea and listening to Martina's art stream. Fun, fun, fun. Could also be a Grateful Dead cover. Cover art, that is. Yeah, cool. Let's see the back cover. Okay, so this is the back cover. We got this Fibonacci thing going on. Who the fuck is Choice? What is this? So it says, next time I want to be able to, like, read ahead, because I'm, like, far better at reading when it's not cold reading, and I, like, have actually read it at least once over. So, yeah. An important book, lavishly illustrated with photographs, obviously chosen with great care and discernment as examples of the... I tried to push through that, and it just got louder than me. An important book, lavishly illustrated with photographs, obviously chosen with great care and discernment as examples of the interdependence among the artist, the artist, and the occult. Okay, cool. So it shows examples of the interdependence among the art object, the artist, and the occult. So Lady Alchemy, that's my jams. Love that stuff. Cool. So this is the inside cover. Let's check that out, shall we? Art in the occult goes beyond the usual historical and aesthetic approach to art in order to probe the common ground which unites the artist and the magician. So Lady Alchemy, I get so excited. In this highly original study, Paul Waldo Schwartz returns to the basic use of the word occult, which is secret or hidden, which refers to the shapes and energies concealed within the husk of material reality, a concept which links contemporary scientists and the world of ancient philosophers. A concept that links contemporary scientists with ancient philosophers. Yeah, thanks to alchemy. There exists, he urges, a timeless fraternity of vastly different minds, impelled by the desire to delve beneath the outward appearance of things and intrigued by the intrinsic duality of the world. Oh, I love that. A league of vision which posits an affinity between the medieval cathedral sculptors and modern cubists, the priest of ancient Asia and Mexico, and the high priest of atomic physics. Goya and the surrealists, Blake and Picasso, Blake, Bosch, Bruegel, Botticelli, Goya, El Greco, Van Gogh, Seurat, Manet, Rodin, Jean Arp, Rousseau, Giametti, Max Ernst, Moreau, Dali, DeVoe, Magritte, I don't know that one, Paul Klee, and Cocteau. Oh god, there's gonna be people like, this is how you say that. I get that all the time, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so these are some of the many artists who have been fascinated by occult shapes and symbolism, and whose work is discussed and reproduced within these pages. Okay, cool. So the jacket illustration, that cover that we were just looking at, is Venus Asleep by Paul Delvaux. How do you think I say that? It's at the Tate Gallery in London. Okay, cool. So that was this cover right here. I pronounced Rodin wrong? Really? Rodin? I feel like I remember hearing that in art history class, but that was, let me say, like 20 years ago at least. So, yeah. So I don't remember. Blake and Bosch are insane. I love them. Yes. Cool. Goya. Very nice. Douglas Kent. Hey, what's up? Nice to see you in here. All right. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm just messing around. Oh, no. Okay, so that's the one I thought I got right. I'm surprised you said that one. I definitely said a few wrong. Like, let's see. Let's look back at this. I don't know who the Yeah, this illustration, not illustration, this cover artist, I'm not familiar with how to say it. It's a Delvaux. I'm assuming it's French. So how do you think we do that with the X? It's like Devoe, Delvaux. I don't know. And then what else? I don't know. Magritte, Magritte, but we will learn. Paul Klee, I don't think I'm too familiar with, and Cocteau, I feel like maybe I've seen his stuff, but I don't know. The rest I know. Okay, we got Botticelli, Bosch, Blake, yes, Goya, Seurat. Is that how you say it? Van Gogh, Rodin. Yeah, okay, yeah, fun stuff. Okay, let's go for the preface and dedication. The question is asked repeatedly, what is the answer? Yet this is a form of inquiry best suited to detective stories, where the problem is neatly set so that the solution can be ingeniously unraveled. The occult mind works in just the opposite direction. The real concern of the mage, the poet and magician is, what is the equation? Ooh, and the mathematician. I like that. What is the equation? That knot has been gnawed at, painted at, written at, and loved at eternally. It is the subject of higher mathematics. There we go. Just as it is the subject of poetry. This brief book cannot hope to encompass all those who shape their lives to this intricate and strenuous pursuit. See, that's the sound. It's the universal sound of just Christ consciousness. We are dealing here with examples. Many other... oh, I should get a drink. Dry throat. I should get a drink. Okay, so this book cannot hope to encompass all those who shape their lives to this intricate and strenuous pursuit. We are dealing here with examples. Many others among the precious few have dived as deep and emerged with remnants as rare. Yet all have been part of the same non-self, the self beyond ego, which never fails to see the answer as a tinsel fragment of time and the question as the medium of timelessness. These pages, written in an age besotted with answers, are dedicated to all those so lucid in their innocence as to have sought the question. That's us, guys. This book is dedicated to us. So cute. I love it. I love it. Oh no, is Streamlabs down? It better not be down. What is wrong with everything today? I got it. Okay, TJ, thank you. 2069, random. Thank you. Everyone is golden. Oh, that's right. You know, that reminds me of a story. I actually... it's interesting. Ooh, I wonder where that is. Fuck. I gotta ask my sister. But I remember this story that reminds me of a golden ball, and that's what your comment reminds me of. And I always had the story and referenced the story, and I don't know where I heard the story. And I was like, where did the story come from? And did I make it up? But then I didn't tell you the story yet. I know it's this big mystery. Just wait a second. But then I was at my sister's house helping her clean for her move or whatever, blah, blah, and I was in her bookshelf, and I came across a book, and I opened a page, and there was this story that I've never heard anyone else reference, and I've never heard it elsewhere. I started thinking I made the story up. But there it was, and I was like, oh my God, where did you get this book? And it was given to her by someone else that I do not know, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so crazy. But anyway, so the story is something about, do you guys know about, like, the golden years or something? It's something about this, like, golden ball, and, like, when you're, like, a child, and then, like, at some point, when you're, like, 7 or something, 7 is, like, this magical number. I think, like, every 7 years, we go through this, like, shift of, I would say consciousness, maybe, but like not really. Not everyone really shifts like with their consciousness, but like everyone kind of does go through these like stages of psychological developments every like 7 years. And I guess like this golden time is like when you still have your innocence, and you know, something about losing this golden ball, and like that's like losing your innocence around this time where just, you know, you start to realize death and things occur and whatever, and just, I don't know, life, like you just kind of lose that innocence. So I don't know, there's something more to the story, but I should read the book, try to find it for my sister, or try to look it up. But there's something about that, and that comment, everyone is golden, it kind of just reminds me of that. We all have that golden ball somewhere to find, you know. Okay, where are you guys? Isn't every 7 years all your cells die and get replaced? I don't know. Yeah, that sounds familiar too. Okay. What did you screen cap, and what is going on here? Okay, let's go back to the book. What do we have here? Art and the Occult. I should read this before I go live next time, but anyway. Occult revivals. Kind of like that word. Occult revival. Anyway, so occult revivals have come about at many periods in modern history, usually for reasons that seem entirely obscure. The collective mind unexpectedly turns from the outer husk of experience, which men choose to call reality. The eye turns from material semblance to a sudden inner realization, and the springs of other realities are invoked. The world is now witnessing another such upsurge. Ooh, when was this book written? Let me just see. It seems kind of not that new, really. Oh, there's some fun proverbs in here I didn't notice. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. Okay. The heaven for height and the earth for depth, and the heart of kings is unsearchable. Okay, Proverbs. Occult. Hidden from sight, concealed. Now rare, applied to the line in the obstruction of a figure, but not formal. Alright, whatever. They're just like spelling out what occult is. A secret hidden. What am I looking for? The date. There's a motherfucking date in here. Oh, there it is. 1975. Looks like a 70s bush. It's a 70s bush on the cover of that. Okay, I'll take it. Yes. Okay, so what are we talking about here? The world is now witnessing another such upsurge, but one that differs from its predecessors in dramatic fashion. This one comes at a time of unprecedented pressure. It coincides with life and death struggle to preserve the survival of the planet, to come to grips with bewildering and ever-accelerating change, to contain essential energies that can be seen to have gone maverick and lethal. This is definitely kind of like what I feel like we're witnessing today as well. It's also what my comic book is about, is like kind of seeing these evils at work among the world, their existing energies. I agree with you, TJ. Bush is dope. Cool. When, in 1954, Aldous Huxley published The Doors of Perception, a book devoted to mind expansion through drugs, it was enthusiastically received. During the same period, Zen Buddhism also sprang into vogue as an alternative to the logical process of Western thought. The world already lived in the shadow of death, but at the time associated the danger with a single perversion of energy, the bomb. That heresy, monster, and symbol was a clearly silhouetted image of the great enemy, and it could be identified. Some 20 years later, the situation has even further deteriorated. The danger of a possible nuclear holocaust now pales slightly in the imagination before prophecies of what survival might entail. Mass pollution, total economic collapse, prevailing anarchy, whose A burst side is totalitarianism. Computerized dehumanization are all possible. I mean, little did they know what was happening with technology when they wrote that sentence. The fact imposes itself with horrific certainty that the enemy is no longer without, but within. Significantly, the title of Huxley's book came from William Blake. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything will appear to man as it is, infinite. Such was the message of the Buddha, the prophets, the Christ. Later, the warning and the message came from Blake with amazing prescience. In the 18th century, he warned against the linear mechanistic spirituality. Okay, let me try it again. In the 18th century, he warned against the linear. I can't say it. Spiritually emaciated system of Voltaire, Newton, and Locke. He warned against the I don't know that word. He warned against the process of the rationalist mind, which denied itself and its God, which are in fact one. He insisted that the eternal body of man is the imagination, that is, God himself. It manifests itself in his works of art. In eternity, all is vision. Man is all imagination. God is man and exists in us and we in him. Thus, Blake saw the full dimensions of what we so meekly call the poetic experience. To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, no, that also just reminds me when they talk about imagination, just about alchemy. I think I've mentioned this, that they consider alchemy child's play in women's work because the women's work is the repetitive practice. It's definitely a discipline. And the child's play is the use of imagination. You have to have an imagination with this kind of stuff, and you have to visualize and have an imagination. Anyway, in the nuclear age, the natural scientist Loren Aisley is heard speaking the same message in another language. Our identity is a dream. We are process, not reality, for reality is an illusion of the daylight, the light of our particular day. And he observed that as the spinning galactic clouds hurl stars and worlds across the night, so life, equally impelled by the centrifugal powers lurking in the germ cell, scatters the splintered radiance of consciousness and sends it prowling and contending through the thickets of the world. There is hope and life and light and vision, but there is no reality in the easy sense. Energy, Blake said, is eternal delight. Energy is eternal delight. Energy, Albert Einstein agreed much later, is the preeminent truth, E equals mc squared. So energy equals like matter, and is a constant. That's a constant. Is the C a constant? Squared. Anyway. So, in a world in which all manifestations that energy are relative. So, in so saying, he overthrew all the brutal certainties of Newtonian science, whose gratifying fixed laws were thought to have controlled and explained everything. The new science now proved Blake correct. It implicitly, but far too late, rendered due homage to the mystics of Asia and of Mexico, who also bowed low before energy and its rhythms. Energy. For the machine, once described as the harnessing of energy to serve man, had long since drained and finally appropriated the powers of the mind. The inner circuits, the internal fire, any true knowledge that makes magic manifest, had been devoured by the dynamo, the electronic circuit, the computer. I mean, again, they did this in 1975. Little do they know what is happening right now. Like, look at what we're doing right now with this, like, technology. It's crazy. The process of the human mind had already been overshadowed by the forces of technology, and a majority of scientists were now super sophisticated plumbers in the employ of the machine. The magic had fled. Typically, the poet, who, as Blake realized, is the true realist, grasped the truth before the realist. This is what Shelley meant when he said poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. Through the cataclysms of World War I, the poet-magicians, Max Ernst and Marcel Duchamp, began to understand the true meaning of the word alchemy. Ooh, not lead into gold, but matter into spirit, and base spirit into elevated spirit. As early as 1900, Henry Adams had made the point with prophetic genius. This grandson and great-grandson of American presidents was unpredictably a poet disguised as a diplomat. When he arrived in Paris for the Exposition Universelle, a showcase of mechanical progress, the scientist-inventor Langley led him to the Hall of Dynamos. Dynamos? Adams describes his reaction, speaking of himself in the third person. Okay, let's get into this. Okay. Yeah, that's true, TJ. I think that's the point of what this is trying to say. Thank you for being able to decipher that. He says, poets speak the unconscious truths of society. The petri dish of society. That's right, Jay. Okay. Okay, so this is what Adams said, Henry Adams, this grandson and great-grandson of the American president. So, John Adams, great-grandson. But yeah, he arrived in Paris for the Exposition Universelle, a showcase of mechanical progress, and the scientist-inventor Langley led him to the Hall of Dynamos, and Adams describes his reaction, speaking of himself in the third person. To him, Langley, the dynamo was but an ingenious channel for conveying somewhere the heat latent in a few tons of poor coal hidden in a dirty engine house, carefully kept out of sight. But to Adams, the dynamo became a symbol of infinity. As he grew accustomed to the great gallery of machines, he began to feel the 40-foot dynamos as a moral force, much as the early Christians felt the cross. The planet itself seemed less impressive in its old-fashioned, deliberate annual or daily revolution than this huge wheel revolving within an arm's length at some at some speed, and barely murmuring, scarcely humming, an audible warning to stand a hairbreadth further for respective power, while it would not wake the baby lying close against its frame. Before the end, one began to pray to it. Inherited instincts taught the natural expression of man before silent and infinite force. Among the 1,000 symbols of ultimate energy, the dynamo was not so human as some, but it was the most expressive. Okay. I don't know really what they're talking about with this. What's this? Let me do Langley Dynamo. Let me do Langley Dynamo. What the fuck are they talking about? Cool. So the World's Fair in 1900, and they had these like machines and shit. I guess that's what they're talking about. Let's see. Let's do. But The next major American exposition, the World's Columbian Exposition held in Chicago, the biggest attractions were the dynamos in the electricity building. Cool. Machines are cool. You can't see what we gotta do. Bang. Cool. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Let's go back to it. Where were we? Okay, so he was able to identify the new forces as absolute, super sensual occult. The huge wheel he spoke of had become to the sorrow of a world. Came to the sorrow of a world atoms would be spared seeing. Oh, okay, let me read that again. Sorry. He was able to identify the new forces as absolute, super sensual occult. The huge wheel he spoke of had become to the sorrow of a world atoms would be spared seeing, the spiritual successor to the cosmic circle of the zodiac, the great wheel of Buddha to the wheel in which the Hindu god Shiva revolves his cosmic dance, to the infinite zero of the tarot, to the great solar and lunar discs so central to biology, magic, and art, as well as we shall see. Today, these mighty presences and powers are generally ignored, yet not by all. Even though the long reign of rationalist illusion, the artist magician and certain allies have kept a lucid consciousness alive, have perpetuated a wholeness of symbols, have preserved a vision possible only along a frequency of truly occult perception, and have seen to it that the converging dignities of art and magic remain united. That's what Lady Alchemy is all about. Yes, it stands to reason that the members of this unproclaimed league have usually been ignored or persecuted. Or only accepted once their works have been formally misunderstood to be objects rather than forces, decorations rather than evocations. Same thing will happen to Tesla. I'm not going to say this is more like Tesla, but just like on a certain level with my Lady Alchemy shit, I'm feeling it. We both have the same birthday, just saying, July 10th, holler. We're both Serbo-Croatian. Okay. Just reading your comments. If you really want to get my attention, don't forget you can always send a super chat or what have you. Where are we? So these things have been largely ignored. No. It stands to reason that the members of this unproclaimed league have usually been ignored or persecuted, or only accepted once their works have been formally misunderstood to be objects rather than forces, decorations rather than evocations, rarities of skill rather than emanations of the invisible, particles of time rather than landmarks of timelessness. In order to approach the nexus of energy and magic, which lies at the heart of art and the occult, one must turn to the invisible. All right, we're getting quantum with it. We're getting quantum with this. I need a drink. Do you mind if I go get a drink, guys? Chair stream for a second, all right? Is that okay? Or do you want my commercial? chair stream. It's just gonna be 2 seconds. Just gonna grab a drink. Let me see. Okay, chair stream. Okay, so do we know what we're talking about? We're talking about the invisible now. The invisible. 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 We're getting quantum with this shit. What do I want to do? What do I want to do with myself? I'm gonna just roll a cigarette real quick, if that's all right with you guys. Wait, where are the papers? Are you enjoying this book so far? I mean, we haven't even gotten. We're starting the first chapter properly right now, but that was just a little. Flux future. Alright, we'll get to it. Speaking for the physical sciences, Sir James Jeans pinpointed the way of the future. The history of physical science in the 20th century is one of progressive emancipation from the purely human angle of vision. Okay. Did I go to the Met? I'm supposed to tomorrow. That's my plan. I want to go tomorrow. Oh, fuck. Fuck, I fucked this one up. Alright, salvageable. Has it mentioned John D yet? No. We just started it, so I'm sure that they will get to it. I just got tobacco in my mouth. Sorry. Okay. So, yeah. The history of physical science in the 20th century is one of progress, progressive emancipation from the purely human angle of vision. This was not, however, the aspect of science one cared to dwell upon. It was not sufficiently comforting. Earlier, Rutherford had shown that the atom is not solid, but a tiny universe of energy whose nucleus and orbiting electrons are separated by vast space. Yeah, most cells and atoms and shit are everything is mostly space and energy, ether. In alchemy, they talk about that space, not just empty air, but they call it ether. There's an energy there, God energy, among that space, and that can be harnessed. That's true. Dan says, I feel like there's a danger in both being completely attached and completely detached from reality. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a matter of being aware of both of those, not necessarily detached, but Sam Jarvis says, Rutherford, woo, let's hear it for the New Zealander who gave the world atomic power. Okay. Okay, what do we have here? So, yeah, so we have atom is not solid but a tiny universe of energy whose nucleus is orbiting electrons are separated by vast space. Thus, if the actual mass of the human body were condensed minus that energy space, excuse me, it would occupy an area about that of a pinhead. As Isley said, we are process, not reality. We are also illusion and, above all, energy. Isley concluded, the fate of man is to be the ever-recurrent, reproachful, eye floating upon night and solitude. The world cannot be said to exist, hold on. Am I having a stroke again? The world cannot be said to exist save by the interposition of that inward eye, an eye various and not under the restraints to be apprehended from what is vulgarly called the natural. Sorry, just forget me. Fuck me. The theme echoes again and again, repeated by the members of the League of Vision. That great naturalist Henry David Thoreau said, man cannot afford to be a naturalist, to look at nature directly, but only through the side of his eye. He must look through and beyond her. Okay. Naturalist sounds like nudist to me nowadays, but yeah, they're talking about like someone that likes nature and shit. So yeah. Man cannot afford to be a naturalist, to look at nature directly, but only through the side of his eye. He must look through and beyond her. Okay. Nature is one of the best teachers. That's true. Well, and that's what alchemy is about. It's about the process of that nature occurs, but like trying to speed it up to get to that faster. In an almost allegorical confrontation, a young poet of occult genius, Jean Cocteau. Let's see how to say his name. Jean Cocteau. How do I say it? How do I say his name? Look at him. Oh, what a nerd. I love him. He was a French poet, playwright, novelist, designer, filmmaker, visual artist, and critic. Oh, I love him. Cocteau. Oh.
Jean Cocteau.
Jean Cocteau. Yeah, Cocteau.
Jean Cocteau.
Jean Cocteau. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to say it like that now. Okay, so in an almost allegorical confrontation, a young poet of occult genius, Jean Cocteau, met an aged scientist, Henry... Oh, thank you. Oh, we have like a new person. Oh, this is fun. TK not at post. TK not at post. $10. Thank you so much. It's a great topic and stream. Keep up the good content. Oh, thanks, guys. This is what I do it for. We always bitch and complain about the left and culture war, but I'm here to provide cultural content. It's all about learning and, you know, developing and building up civilization, not just tearing things down. So it's important for us to be cultured. So, what do we have? Jean Cocteau met the age scientist Henry Poincaré. Let's see how Henry
Henri Poincaré, French.
Henry Poincaré.
Henri Poincaré, French.
Poincaré. Henri Poincaré. Okay, again, in an almost allegorical confrontation, a young poet of occult genius, Jean Cocteau, met the age scientist Henri Poincaré. Of this meeting, Cocteau wrote, where a wall forces philosophers and scholars to meticulous halts, the poet begins. Science only serves to verify the discoveries of instinct. I would like to quote two phrases to you. They were spoken to me by Henry Poincaré a few days before his death. Here is the first sentence. Why are you shy? Oh, yeah, that's definitely something for me. Man Overboard Media. Hey, what's up? $5. Thank you so much. He said, is rhyme misspelled, or does the author mean rhyme as in a frost? Lines 10 to 11. Oh, let's get to there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't see it yet. Oh, rhyme. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. So he says, I would like to quote two phrases to you. They were spoken to me by Henry Poincaré a few days before his death. Here's the first sentence. Why are you shy? It's for me to be shy. Your youth and poetry are two privileges. The chance of a rhyme sometimes makes a system emerge from darkness, and gaiety catches mystery on the wing. Yeah, I mean, in regard to poetry, I would think it's rhyme, as in, like you spelled it, rhythm, rhyme. Yeah, it's strange. I don't know. The second was better. Yes, yes, said this upright man. I guess what it is. You would like to hear how far we have got with the unknown. Each day brings a miracle into our laboratories, but responsibility obliges us to maintain a professional silence. I see things, and he took off his eyeglasses. The confidence that is placed in us can only be maintained by certainty, the unknown. Okay. I heard the samovar and a passenger boat on the scene. We hear it at the present time as miners excavating a tunnel hear the violent muffled sounds and the first pickaxe blows of the miners on their way to meet them. Admit it. Not bad, was it? Moreover, it killed him. Outside forces made him die. The police force of the unknown. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Yet he did see the power of the unknown. He saw it. He saw its shadow and partly its shape. One might almost say he saw its odor, for such a capacity does exist until the bars of a limited professional confidence crash down with a dense rational thud. In this sense, the artist is far freer than the scientist, but never less precise. Paul Klee said of the artist, he neither serves nor rules, he transmits. And there are men of science who rank among the poets. In our time, Theodor Schwenk, studying the movement of air and water, has arrived at an amazing synthesis of modern objective analysis and ancient intuitive understanding of the elements as spirits. He also produced an astounding series of photographs to make visible a world of unseen, inner rhythm. Oh, look, they spelled rhythm that way. At once natural and symbolic, a sigil of microcosm and macrocosm, as above so below, a rare profile of the invisible. These images reveal what happens when a stream of liquid flows into a body of still water. What emerges is a kaleidoscope of organic possibility, of architectural and symbolic richness. One sees a totem, figure 1. Okay, a totem. A fertilized ovule. Figure 2. What's happening? Anyway, we have Angelo Capo. I don't know how to say it. He says, go on Gavin's show. Oh, yeah, I should, I don't know, I should contact him. Why not? Yeah. This is actually a bit annoying to read. This book is how I actually talk when I'm high. Yeah, I mean, this is how I think, but it's just reading someone else's, like, kind of existential writing, cold reading is a bit difficult. But yeah, I totally get it. Like, that's why I have to read these things, like, a few times. And sometimes I get through a paragraph or a sentence and I stop at it and I'm like, huh, and I, like, think about it and I, like, reread it. And there's a phrase in alchemy, it's Latin, and it's something about ora, lege, reglige, et vienis, which is pray, read, reread, and you will discover it. So it's just rereading things over and over again so it starts to really get ingrained on another level. So yeah. Do I think mostly in images or words? Images, for certain. Oh, thank you, Haldor. Thank you. Okay, so, wait. What figures? Let me look at this book. So, maybe it's the next pages. Let me bring up the next page here. So we have page 7. Various forms created by the flow of liquid into still water. Okay, that's what this is. Photos, Verlag, Fritas. It's in Stuttgart? I don't know what that is. Okay, so again, this is various forms created by the flow of liquid into still water. So I think this is just like a pool of still water and then a flow of liquid was pushed through it. I guess that's what's happening here. Okay, so one sees a totem, a fertilized ovule, a mandala, a phallus. One sees a monolith, strangely resembling the totemic heads of Easter Island that speak of Earth surrounding by a seemingly infinity of water. One sees a pelvic joint, an avatar of bone and muscle sculpted as a momentary reflection of an eternal archetype in water. One sees the building of a floral form and the shadow of the atomic mushroom cloud. One sees the organic source of images that recur in the work of artists as seemingly disparate as J.M.W. Turner and Jean Arp. Oh, I love Turner. Had a human being imagined and designed these forms, the Freudian interpretation would be generally predictable, but these images are not human. They are a work of passive spirit beyond the ego. They come out of a cosmic darkness from the vast well of energy whose source are unattainable by the mind. They rise, however, into the domain of what Carl Jung called the collective unconscious. They hint at the meaning of what Thoreau saw and yearned for when he spoke seeing through and beyond nature. In this remarkable book, Sensitive Chaos, Swenk makes the following observation. Whenever water occurs, it tends to take on a spherical form. It envelops the whole sphere of the earth, enclosing every object in a thin film. Falling as a drop, water oscillates about the form of a sphere, or as a dew fallen on a clear and starry night, it transforms an inconspicuous field into a starry heaven of sparkling drops. We see moving water always seeking a lower level, following the pull of gravity. In the first instance, it is earthy laws which cause it to flow, draw it away from its spherical form, and make it follow a less linear and determined course. Yet water continually strives to return to its spherical form. It finds many ways of maintaining a rhythmical balance between the spherical form natural to it and the pull of earthly gravity. It's much easier to read with an actual book. I don't like reading off the computer. A sphere is a totality, a whole, and water will always attempt to form an organic whole by joining what is divided and uniting it in circulation. It is not possible to speak of the beginning or end of circulatory systems. Everything is inwardly connected and reciprocally related. If a living circulation is interrupted, a totality is broken into the linear chain of cause and effect, as in inorganic law is set in motion. This should be perfectly acceptable even to the confirmed rationalist as a scientific proposition. However, this statement implies far more than that. It parallels to perfection the fundamental sense of occult knowledge. It reflects the endless circuit of the tree of life of the Holy Kabbalah, the meaning of the wheel of Buddha, and the circular dance of Shiva. Most of all, it finds its reflection in the tarot, or Tarot, whose name knows two anagrams: Torah, Hebrew for law, and Rota, which means the wheel. The pack has been called, with appropriate symmetry, Tarota. Huh, interesting. Tarota. So what page am I on? 10. I don't know if you guys want to read along with me, but I figured I'd leave up the stuff I was talking about there. Tarota, but that's kind of what. Look at me, see Tarota over there. Called with appropriate symmetry. Tarota? I'm now thinking of what Bruce Lee said about water. Fodcom has a great video clip that involves that. Flow like water. So good, the song. Alright, what are you guys talking about? What are you talking about? Bottom pick isn't too far away from fission implosion device. Yeah, let's go back to that bottom pick. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Become water, my friend. We have Norse runic symbolism related to this shape too. Really cool, Haldor. Fuck yeah. Cool. The 19th century mage Eliphas Levi described the tarot as embodying the whole wisdom of the Bible in a potent form that cuts beneath allegory or narrative. Indeed, the 22 major arcanas, keys, or cards express in symbolic language the entirety of human existence. Much scholarship has been devoted to exploring the origins of the pack. The only resulting conclusion is that, most appropriately, its origins are unknown. In itself, it has no beginning and no end, like any perfect circle. The points along its perimeter are not 22, but infinite. When the deck is arranged as a circle, the 0 card, called the Fool, figure 7. So, page 11. Let's get you page 11. This guy. Oh, yes, I know Emoto's water. Yeah, water experiments. Yep. I think we talked about that in the alchemy streams when I started doing that. I was reading one of my friend's books. I don't know if you caught me doing my alchemy streams. Yeah, you should check out some of the alchemy streams I've done. I haven't done them in a while because, I don't know, for reasons I'll explain later. Ah, Dan's heading out. Bye. Bye, lad. Okay, so... When the deck is arranged in a circle, the 0 card, called the Fool, right here, reigns at the top with Arcana 1. Figure 8 to its right, proceeding clockwise to Arcana... that's 21. Wait, okay, so let me do page 12 and 13. 12 and 13. Page 12. Oop, what happened? Page 12 and page 13. Okay, so when it's placed in a circle, the Fool's at the top with Arcana 1. Figure 8. This is the Magician. To its right, proceeding clockwise to Arcana, I think that's 21, which is this, on its left. Misdirected commentators take the Fool for a symbol of distraction, oblivion. On the contrary, he is the figure of a sublime and aloof consciousness beyond the human state, oblivious to the lynx, the crocodile, the precipice about him. He is a perfect equation of spirit. He is in the state of divine unity symbolized by oneness. Okay. Oswald Wirth, who was a disciple of Levi's, remarked that all comes from nothing and returns to nothing, from dust to dust, right? Ash to ash. But the nothing everything is the great mystery, the arcana of arcanas, before which reason confesses its impotence. And a century later, Aleister Crowley taught that the really important figure of this card is that its number should be 0. It represents, therefore, the negative above the tree of life, the source of all things. It is the Kabbalistic 0. It is the equation of the universe, the initial and final balance of the opposites. Oh, now I'm so upset that Dan left because he's always talking to me about this kind of stuff and numbers. I hope Dan heard that bit. It looks like he's holding a fish. It does. Okay, so Schwenk describes water, which is the element of all creation, as ever yearning for the wholeness of the sphere. He speaks of a rhythmical balance between that yearning and the pull of earthly gravity. As in nature, so in spirit. Well, gravity and water kind of go hand in hand. The tide of the, the pull of the gravitational pull of the tides and all that stuff. Yeah, gravity really affects water. As in nature, so in spirit, for the two are never apart. Oh, yeah, see, there you go. Gravity and water. The Fool is that wholeness. He reigns between the Magician, wherein the creative urge begins, like a fertilized egg, again, circular, complete but as yet unformed, and the whole or universe wherein the four elements are conjoined about a circle of consummation, the final apotheosis, where, in T.S. Eliot's words, the tongue of the fire are enfolded into the crowned knot of fire, and the fire and the rose are one. Yet this wholeness has been present throughout. Note that the magician's hat takes the form of an infinity. Oh, it's like the magician. Oh, the magician's hat is an infinity. Look at that. Interesting. The symbol image truth of the great zero is eternal. It is Siva, god of death and lord of the world, dancing at the center of the earth in a single flame. I don't know, maybe it's Shiva, but it was spelled S-I-V-A. Bearing the drum of creation and the flame of destruction in rhythmic, ever-flowing equilibrium. Figure 10. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I guess it's Shiva, but they sometimes spell it differently. This one's S-I-V-A. So let me do page 15 for you. Same thing? Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, the symbol image truth of the great zero is eternal. It is Shiva, god of death and lord of the world, dancing at the center of the earth in a circle of flame, bearing the drum of creation, and the flame of destruction in rhythmic, ever-flowing equilibrium. It is the divine circle in the brow of Buddha, the inner eye. In the Tibetan mandala, it becomes a symbol of concentric infinity cosmology. Figure 11. Okay. So this guy. This is the, it is the divine circle in the brow of Buddha, the inner eye. In the Tibetan mandala, it becomes a symbolic and concentric infinite cosmology, as it does in the Hebrew Holy Kabbalah. Look at that stuff. Basis of the tarot itself. Okay, and then we get into Max Ernst's Sun and Forest. So that's on page 16. Let me get you page 16. Let's look at that. Cool. Now we're getting into some art here. Okay, so in Max Ernst's Sun and Forest paintings, the sun becomes a magic circle. A perimeter which puns the mechanical and the celestial, the natural and the symbolic. Late in Ernst's life, even in the impenetrable forest was made to soften and dissolve, to become a magnetic field in the power of the solar-lunar cycle. Figure 14. Let's see. Okay, then there's this one. Yeah. This is The Last Forest, oil and canvas, Max Ernst. It's got that circle in there. Even in the impenetrable forest was made to soften and dissolve, to become a magnetic field in the power of the solar-lunar cycle. In Giacometti's The Chariot, so let's see. So we got this chariot. Holy shit, look at that guy. Okay. The human flesh is pared away until it becomes a slender vibration, while the great wheels beneath become elements of power, reflections of cosmic movement. So might an archaic sculptor have depicted his gods born through the heavens. A century earlier, Turner was drawn irresistibly through non-symbolic channels into the vortex of the Great Zoo, figures 16 to 18. I love Turner. I don't know, there's something about his works that just look really magical. Really like it. Does a lot of ocean. This is the ocean and boats and the sky and waves, and it's really, well, that's what he usually does. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, snowstorm off a boat. Yeah, off a boat's harbor. Okay, cool. So what is he saying about Turner here? Turner was drawn irresistibly through non-symbolic channels into the vortex of the Great Zoo. Figures 6 to 18, when Hazlitt's quipped that Turner paints nothing and very like, he was closer to the mark than he suspected. Rene Magritte painted the eye as its own mandala. Okay, let me see this guy. Oh, okay, that's probably why I don't know him. It's very surrealist. Okay. Okay, so what are they saying here about Turner? I guess there's like some sort of circular thing happening. There's always like this, do you see like the circles? The sun? I can see like the sun here. There's like a little circle there. And this whole thing is pretty circular. I don't know. I don't know if it's a reach, if they're trying to find circles and things. Like, okay, you'll find circles, but yeah. Stephen is who? It's the Bhagavad Gita Krishna. Bhagavad Gita, right? Isn't that what you're looking for? Bhagavad Gita. So let me see, page 20. Is it raining out there? I hear rain. So they're mentioning this guy. So this is Rene Magritte? I don't know. So what do we say about this? So he painted the eye as its own mandala, its own sun, and its own universe, for so it is. The retina is a mandala of perception, itself a microcosm, and there is wisdom in Magritte's title, the false mirror, that's what this is called, for the optic of looking is incomplete until it becomes a concentrated instrument of seeing. The symbol, infinity symbol, is also interpreted as the sign of the third eye, wherein the sight of the two retinas become focused or alchemized into a luminous inner understanding. Thus, graphically as well as symbolically, 0 equals infinity. Okay, I was just thinking about that mathematically, and it gave me like a little like... Let me see what you guys are up to. Oh, you're talking about the Vedas. Yeah, the Vedic texts are, yeah, the Indian thing. Yeah. The Vedic text, and it's like the Bhagavad Gita Krishna, but yeah, the Vedic text. Yeah. Okay, where are we at? So, at this point, however, third mysterious card comes into play, Arcana 15. Baphomet or the Devil. Page 21. Sorry. Okay, so the Baphomet or the Devil. Here again is a key to which only interpreters with creative insight have been able to discern. For the deep significance of arc. 15 lies in the principle that if there were only deity and no force of opposition, there could only exist total perfection. Perfection being complete oneness could never be divided into form. There could only be a celestial thought, a divine harmony, but not a world. The devil, then, is the source of all worldly presences and desires. By definition, he is also the source of all excess, all disharmony, all evil. Worth, conveying the teachings of Levi. The serious adept does not forget that the devil is the great magical agent, thanks to which miracles occur, unless they are of a purely spiritual order, for when mind acts directly upon mind, the devil cannot intercede. But as soon as the body comes into play, nothing can be done without the devil, because it's in the material realm. It's interesting. So Crowley comments, this card represents creative energy in its most material form. The card represents Pangenitor, the all-begetter. It is the tree of life as seen as a background of exquisitely tenuous, complex, and fantastic forms of madness, the divine madness of spring, already foreseen in the meditative madness of winter. Alright, so it's that divine kind of spark in the material form that the devil tarot represents. This one looks silly, says Jay. So, what do we have here? Oh, Crowley also adds, in every symbol of this card, there is the allusion, A-L-L, allusion, to the highest things and most remote. Even the horns of the goat are spiral to represent the movement of the all-pervading energy. Zoroaster defines God as having a spiritual force. Compare the more recent, if less profound, writings of Einstein. Now between the highest and most remote and the lowest and most diabolical, there exists a logarithmic principle formulated without any deliberate reference to the occult by the medieval mathematician Leonardo Fibonacci da Pisa. The resulting Fibonacci curve not only holds valid to our day, but finds ever new applications as the perceptual means of science expand. Fibonacci discovered that countless spirals in nature can be plotted according to a mathematical progression, beginning with 1 and advancing by the addition of each 2 of the preceding numbers. Hence 1, 1, 2. Wait, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, etc. This progression describes a constant scale of ratios in the shape of spiral matter and suggests a fundamental rhythm in the spiral of creative energies. The law applies to the chambers of the Netulus shell. So figure 21, let me see, page 22. There's some music out there. Okay, so yeah, we got that shell. That's like the classic Fibonacci shell. But what do we have here? So yeah, so the law applies to the chambers of the Nautilus shell as it does the curve of the whirlpool galaxy in the heavens. It applies to the spin of a hurricane. Oh shit. It applies to the spin of a hurricane. As to the rhythm of the mollusks shell. It's a mollusk shell, but when you do a possessive, like apostrophe S, it gets a little weird. It gets a little weird when you try to do the possessive of a mollusk shell. We have some girls in here sometimes. We have chicks in here sometimes. Most of my fans used to be women when I was Lady Alchemy, or gay men, but found myself in political scenes, so it's mostly men, but I have some lady friends. I'm meeting up with a lady friend tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. The day after. Saturday. She met me online. Found me. Yeah, I remember ASL. Okay, so where are we at? We are just looking at the Fibonacci. It applies to the curvature of a canary's claw as the curve of the as to the curve of an elephant. It applies to the curvature of a canary's claw as to the curve of the elephant's tusks, and equally to the spiral of the wild goat's horns. Crowley cites the helical motion of the devil's goat's horns and uses not the science of Fibonacci, but the mysticism of Zoroaster as his stated source. And he goes further. He equates, without even bothering to underline the points, the divine and diabolical spirals. He may or may not have known that Fibonacci had long since implicated nature. There is a great unity here, one we are bound to pursue. In the 15th century, Buchanan depicted the infant Christ upon a spiral throne. Oh, let's check that out, page 24. Spiral. I always drew spirals, like when in my notebooks when I was just doodling. It's always spirals. I still do that. I just draw spirals all the time. Okay, so we got the infant Christ. We got baby Jesus here on a spiral. Doesn't that remind you of something? Oh, my butt's hurting me. Does that remind you of something that we saw recently in our art history stuff? I think there was something that was spiraled up like that. Oh, shoot. What book am I reading? Let me bring you back to the, it's this book. It's, Art and the Occult. So, yeah, pretty much that. It's Art and the Occult. That's very Lady Alchemy. It's very me. So, we're just going over it. It was published in 1975, as you can see by the bush. But yeah, we're going over baby Jesus here. So, in the 15th century, Buchanan depicted the infant Christ upon a spiral throne, sigil of a cosmic force. In his panel, Christ is disputing with the doctors, either time or faulty restoring, have effaced parts of a powerful companion symbol. Through the door of the chamber, a tree and bloom rose from a still existing spiral of green earth. Let me see. What's going on? Oh, God. This chair is not comfy. It's making my butt sore. Oh, my God. Wow. Wow, that's not a comfy chair. Ah, sorry. I gotta go to the bathroom, too. Just looking at everything. Okay. I might go to the bathroom. Alright, we've been on for like an hour and 30 minutes. Have I thought about doing an occult stream with Sticks and Hammer? Yeah, sure. I think he's interacted with me like before in the past on Twitter. I think he follows me. He's never asked me to do anything, though. This is what I don't understand. Nobody asks me to do anything. Really, ever. They know I'm into alchemy. They know I'm a performer. but I'm just pretty much ignored. Just rolling a little something, don't mind me. It's music outside, sorry. I should just put on some other tunes in the background while I'm not talking. Okay, you know what? Hold on a second. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Let me put something on for you guys. Give me 1 second. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed myself, and I'm just finishing up a little something here. Don't mind me. Whoop. So my friend Frank also got me some hemp flower, and it has 0.3% THC. And it's 18.2% CBD. And it looks and smells exactly like marijuana. So I am testing it out. The fact that there's only 0.3 THC means it's probably not going to get you high, but dude, it looks and smells just like marijuana. It's insane. It's insane. It'll probably just get you high because it looks and smells like it. So I'm testing it out. Let's see how this is. I'm gonna treat it just as if it were marijuana. Well, it is, I suppose. Because in New York, it's not legal. Well, I mean, it is, unless if you have like cancer or some shit. The only thing you can really buy at these hemp places is just CBD stuff in New York. So we have a ton of CBD shit. Let's try the CBD shit. Tastes incredible. I don't know. I don't know. It tastes good. It tastes like really good weed, but like, I don't know. Guess it doesn't get you high. I don't know if 0.3 gets you high. CBD shit, that's right. Sweaty now. It tastes good. It tastes good. Dan, you're here. I was just going over stuff they were talking about with zero, the number zero. You should rewind a little and check out that, because you're always talking about 0 and 1, the binary stuff, and they were just going over zero and the infinity of zero. That it's oneness, it's wholeness, it's complete, it's godly. Alright, cool. Alright, let's get back to it. We're looking at baby Jesus over here on his little spiral. This is Christ disputing with the doctors. Either time or faulty restoring have a face part of a powerful companion symbol. Okay, so something is not there. Something's missing. Through the door of the chamber, a tree in bloom rose from a still existing spiral of green earth. The two were meant as direct parallels, and as one. The helix of occult and spiritual law, and the helix of natural and creative law. Tastes really nice. Where that spiral begins and where it ends is an unanswerable question. It may indeed have no beginning and no end at all. Ecclesiastes 4:11 says, Ecclesiastes 4:11 says, He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. Okay, so it's a question that's not going to be answered. The question remains a richly procreative mystery, an ever-fluid equation that will never stand still. In our own time, D.H. Lawrence in England and Remy de Gourmont in France chose to reformulate the story of Christ by suggesting that pagan illustration, the flesh, and the moon goddess were vital components lacking in the Christian schema. Julian, the apostate emperor of Rome, drew the same conclusion during the 4th century and meant to restore pagan doctrines to official preeminence. Oh, we'll probably get to that in, oh wait, no, we already did Rome. One of the greatest ifs in history is whether the whole of Western spiritual consciousness might not thus have taken a dramatic turn had Julian not died in battle at an early age. Well, we do worship, I mean, we're not supposed to worship, but we kind of do, especially in Croatia. I know a lot of Catholics do this, and people talk about Catholics doing this, but in Croatia, especially Medjugorje, we have an affinity towards the Virgin Mary. And I feel like that is our, like, female archetype in Christianity. Her and Mary Magdalene. But yeah. In any case, the sinuous flow along which the high and the low become one, and in which the singular and the divided are linked, is the stream of creation. Inevitably, the artist is drawn to this primal force. Jean Arp shaped it in marble and acutely described at least part of its mystery as an evocation of a human, lunar, spectral form. Ooh. So page 26. Let me show you that. Very nice. I like that. I like that a lot. So, he had distilled in modern terms the creative, sexual, spiritual power which a 5th century sculptor of Samothrace was able to identify in the precision of myth as Aphrodite, figure 27. I think that's page 27. Okay. Oh, degenerate. Degeneracy. Let me just put this away. It tasted really nice. It's not like, oh, I'm high. It's just like, tastes good. It's better than a cigarette. Yummy. Okay, so this is Aphrodite. It is the same rhythm at heart which animates the entwined figures of Jean Postagai's The Lovers, figure 28. Oh, wow. Okay. Look at that. Okay. That's The Lovers. Again, the spiral, liquid, and fleshy yearning for the perfect zero is transfixed in marble. Transfixed in marble. It's pretty cool. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. You guys don't like it. A lot of yucks in there. That's funny. In Arp's relief, figure 29, the zero is nearly consummated. In Huxley's waterfall, figure 30. Okay, so this one is Jean Arp. This one in relief. Okay. And then we have the waterfall. Ooh, lovely. The celestial circle and its liquid torrents coincide inseparably. This eternal rhythm even turns up through what might be called willed chance on the beautiful reverse of an Indian painting. Okay, then we get to the next one. What? Like, they're really hopping around here. Oop, I think I messed that page order up. That's lovely, though. I love these types of painting. This is in London as well. It is endless and also inescapable. The Chinese poets who assigned their dreamstones. Oh, God, another one. Figure 32. Okay. So these are their dreamstones. So the Chinese poets who signed their dreamstones located the rhythm and the ultimate zero ready-made in the stone of nature. For the spiral is in fact the great zero and the great infinity in their active, irreplaceable, creative avatar in and out of time. Okay. Yet, as suggested, the devil, too, is a potent force here. Worth writes, the artist employs the devil without binding himself to him by any pact. That this is easier said than done is central to the artist's dilemma. The artist exists in an eternal state of paradox. He must delineate, separate, choose a limit, define, divide in an attempt to join, unify, distill, purify towards the great wholeness, the sublime one. That also reminds me in alchemy of solve et coagula, which is separate and combine, and that's what the alchemist does all the time too. It's dividing, separate, divide, and then recombine. And then you separate that and get rid of all the gunk, and then recombine. And then you separate it again, and you can. So it's solve et coagula. It's like separate and combine over and over and over again. What about the imperfect zero? what does it say? So he must delineate, separate, choose, limit, define, divide in the attempt to join, unify, distill, purify towards the great wholeness, the sublime one. 1 equals 0. Okay. I equals 0, so 1 equals 0 is a godly equation. But the number of the devil is 2, the number of division, and the poets belongs to his world. Okay, so poets belong to the devil's world. Okay. But again, the devil is the material kind of energy force, like sparking that kind of fire. Hence, the poet is in the devilish position of having to alchemize the enigma 1 equals 2 or 2 equals 0. He begins as arc, 1 in search of the arc. 11. He must circumnavigate the whole of the great wheel, forever in perilous suspension between the great 0 of the fool and the devil of free will and form. All right. So you have to constantly always be in suspension between the fool, which is like, this blissful subconscious kind of energy, and the devil, which is like the, basically knowing, kind of like it. Yeah, it makes sense. It's making sense to me. Free will. Yeah, free will and form. The artist must deal with a concentric universe wheel where to seek the heights means simultaneously to explore the depths. Biography speaks with eloquence of the perils involved. Dostoevsky aims to complete spiritualization of man, yet falls into bitter excess of temptation and creates havoc for all about him. Van Gogh achieves a rare and lucid sanity indecipherable to his contemporaries, is rejected, loses his precious balance, and spins into suicide. Paul Verlaine, having achieved the soulful heights of sages, breaks down and is advised by a doctor to write out its darkling carnal equivalent, which he calls parallelement. Okay, let's go to page 32, shall we, together? This music outside is ridiculous. Ah, my butt hurts. Alright, I'm on this page. Okay, which he calls parallelement. De Quincey climbs the ladder of imagination and finds himself mired in the miasmus of opium. Sade, Rimbaud, Bosch, Toulouse-Lautrec. Oh, I know that name. Toulouse-Lautrec. Odilon, Redden. Okay, Redden. Grenwald, Brestin. Baudelaire. Huysmans. All learned to look directly into the black effulgence of Behemoth. God. Fucking books, man. Fucking books. For what is below is above, and what is above is below. That which is above is like that which is below, and that which is below is like that which is above to create the one true thing. Ah. Not so long after Crowley's death, Professor Crick and his associates at Cambridge discovered, in conformity with Zoroaster and Einstein, that the structure of the genetic principle is in fact a double helix, which they identified as DNA. And so it is that the deadly corkscrew-like syphilis bacillus, the genetic enemy that killed Manet, Baudelaire, Maupassant, and Goyen, is helical as well. The duality, these dark roots of heaven, doubled Blake and became the mystery of his tiger, burning bright. Tiger? I don't know. In the forest of the night. He had to ask what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry. It was a terrible enigma, and he concluded with a question. When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Okay. Henry Rousseau vivified the same question. Still, the tiger is part of an organic force. Only man is capable of upsetting that equilibrium, and his dire aspect is also reflected perfectly in Schwenk's natural principle that if a living circulation is interrupted, a totality is broken into, whereupon an inorganic law is set in motion. This is precisely what has happened to our world of materialism, estranged from its underlying occult rhythms, out of touch with its wellsprings of archetypal knowledge, which is precisely what Blake warned about. We like to make a distinction between hard thinking, which is sharp, concrete, solid, and soft thinking, which is fuzzy, inexact, dull. So far as the rationalist level of induction and deduction goes, the distinction holds. But there's a third and more dynamic category of thought, which can be called fluid thinking. This is a more subtle zone of apprehending the nature of things, a more intuitive and more revelatory process. It implies an aptitude for sensing proportion and symbol, for receiving the vibrations of a universe of ubiquitous living presence, shapes, circulations, and sigils of mind and energy. It is the way of the poet and the magician, and it is increasingly the way of science. One knows how, in the 19th century, the German chemist Kekulé discovered the molecular structure of benzene. All his best hard thinking had failed to produce a solution, but one night he had a dream. He dreamt of a serpent binding its own tail. Oh my god, it's the Ouroboros. Binding its own tail? Biting its own tail. Serpent biting its own tail. Yeah, the Ouroboros. On awakening, Kekulé saw the answer. It took the form of a closed carbon ring. Now carbon is the basic element of life, and the serpent biting its tail happens to be the very ancient symbol, the Ouroboros, at least as old as the Gnostic sects. J.E. Serlot explains that in the broadest sense, it is symbolic of time and the continuity of life. Here again is the great zero, yet another circle in Mandala, the image of the sphere, which is also the true nature of water, the nothing and everything of the tarot. And here it is again rediscovered by a modern chemist, just as it was by the ancients through intuitive and fluid process. In fact, this time through the most fluid of all thought forms, the dream. That's so true. Dreaming is fluid. Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting, actually. So they're talking about this German chemist who discovered the molecular structure of carbon through a dream, and he saw an Ouroboros, a snake eating itself, and kind of, wow, that's really cool. And he discovered it through this fluid way. Really cool. At the time, the event was doubtless taken down as a curiosity. Today, however, the situation has changed vastly because science increasingly finds itself enmeshed in a cosmic tapestry of the impossible. The subatomic physicist must incessantly account for what he cannot intellectually believe. An electron changes from one orbit to another without ever having traveled through space. An electron fired at a screen with two holes. The double slit experiment. There we go. I talk about quantum physics all the time to explain the mysteries of alchemy and magic. Oh god, I got this booty. So this chair sucks. I need a pillow on this chair. Oh, how exciting. He's talking about the double slit experiment. Some quantum physics in here. So, electrons fired at a screen with 2 holes in it goes through both apertures at once. A positron, or double negative electron, can only be explained as moving backwards in time. A neutrino, which has no mass, no charge, and no magnetic field, and which hence cannot truly be said to exist, passes through our bodies and through the crust of the earth as if those objects did not exist for it. In fact, is quite like a ghost. In an attempt to begin to explain the unexplainable, physicist has been compelled to speak of what they term the psi field. Is that how you say it? PSI field? Psi field? The term implies a dimension or zone of reality along which events occur beyond the plane of cause and effect, explicable in our normal worlds. In other words, such and such has been seen to happen, but it cannot have happened within our range of casual understanding. Therefore, there must be an angle of reality vision, a dimension to encompass this phenomenon. The term is vague, of course, but it is intrinsically more scientific than the easier pretension that any given evidence must be valid because it fails to accommodate the theory. Okay, so basically, yeah, I think they're getting to the same point that I make about quantum physics, that like there's stuff that we cannot understand, and quantum physics is like starting to see really strange things that are occurring, and it doesn't really make sense to us in the way that we understand the physical world and the science that we have like created. Like, it doesn't function on the same rules and levels, so it's like, what the fuck. Heraclitus. I always read these things and I never say them out loud, so this is quite challenging to say things out loud sometimes. But anyway, he wrote, "If you do not expect it, you will not find the unexpected, for it is hard to find and difficult." Many centuries later, Louis Pasteur laid down the law that in the fields of observation, chance favors the mind prepared. We are involved here with the art of skepticism and the art of belief. One might postulate another law. Skepticism can only be said to exist where the capacity for belief exists. In other words, to say, I'm a skeptic, I don't believe that sort of thing, is not skepticism at all. Skepticism begins, I can't believe this, I shall have to explore it thoroughly. Thus, the psi field is the postulation of faith in scientific method. It consists of what Arthur Koestler calls a verbal raft, a framework for further investigating the evidence. Strangely, however, parapsychologists have spoken of a psi field long before the subatomic physicists. The latter came to it reluctantly, rationally, ineluctably. The former came to it instinctively, gladly, through the path of acknowledgement. They were less concerned with the fact that extrasensory perception, a clairvoyant capacity to predict the future, the luminous cropping up of the invisible, the elegant, if eerie, symmetry of coincidence, could not be proven systematically. The fact of love cannot be explained, and the luminosity of art cannot be systemized either. Systematized either. Yeah, that's it. Systematized either. The fact of their existence imposes itself upon the receptive mind. Where there is no receptivity, they in effect cease to exist. Behind Rosenfeld's little gem of cynicism, there are people who would never have loved had they never heard of love. There are people who would never have loved had they never heard of love. Lies the truth that the belief fathers the capacity. The belief fathers the capacity. Okay. Only at that point does skepticism cease to be obstructive and become essential. For the ancients, this psi field never had to be postulated because it was too evident, too obvious. The goddess was a fact. It sufficed to consult the moon, to acknowledge the sun, to witness the stones. These were living things, not objects. Not every ancient knew how to read the signs of natural objects, but he had his seers. And the seer was not a creator in our sense, but a man of knowledge in a sense now largely lost. The earth was not matter, but energy, and flesh was far more living energy, the vibrating coffer of secrets, a receptor, a transmitter. The mind-body was a computer, not a quantitative sums, but of qualitative equations. In the end, the ancients too denied their seers, so that the secrets had to be passed from hand to hand, from cult to cult. Yeah, so in alchemy, it's the oral tradition, so it was passed down through word originally. All this occult stuff. Through time, certain artists have devoted themselves to worship of the psi field, no matter that they never heard of the term expressed. They saw it embodied as rhythm. They saw the shape and the body and vibration of a rhythmic light. Modern art has evolved the convenient term abstraction, but abstraction is beside the point. The poet-magician knows no abstractions, only powers and realities. Carlos Castaneda has published what he terms the chronicles of his experience with the Yaqui, Yaqui Indian seer called Don Juan. This account, whether of actual experience or some have suggested of entirely hallucinogenic inspiration, is a text of great significance. It is a magician's log of power over what Schwenk called sensitive chaos, and what the tarot represents as an ubiquity of spirit in the affairs of men. Don Juan awakens Castaneda to the eminent life of all things, to the spirits of the earth and desert. He takes his naive and sincere anthropologist into the wilderness and shows that every solitude and pinnacle and distance is tremulous with spirit. He proves that dimension is endless, that direction is as important as place, that here is no more real than the vector of southeast or northwest. Vector has both direction and magnitude. A little math lesson for you there. Vector has a direction and a magnitude. He proves that dimension is endless, that direction is as important as place, that here is no more real than the vector of southeast or northwest, that the pervasive spirit can halt or kill depending upon the will and equilibrium of the seeker, and that earth contains a viscera of spirit in every particle of space and medium of mind. He proves the invisible. He demonstrates that there is no inner and outer, but only consciousness that permeates rock and flesh and space. He shows that matter and mind are but manifestations of the same field. Don Juan tells his pupils, what a sorcerer calls will is a power within ourselves. It is not a thought or an object or a wish. Will is what can make you succeed when your thoughts tell you that you're defeated. Will makes you invulnerable. Will is what sends a sorcerer through a wall, through space, to the moon if he wants. And he went on to say, will is a force, a power. Seeing is not a force, but rather a way of getting through things. A sorcerer may have a very strong will, and yet he may not see, which means that only a man of knowledge perceives the world with his senses and with his will, and also with his seeing. So that's interesting too, because we'll learn in, it's in here too. This is a really great magic book. I really like it. It's called Modern Magic, 11 Lessons in High Magical Art. So I like high ritual magic. This has a lot about that in there. And the definition of magic is the will to to enact change, like causing your will, having your will cause like change. God, these cars. Anyway, what are you guys talking about? All right, I'm discussing physicists with the esoteric stuff. Oh, what's the book I'm reading from? Sorry about that. I'm sorry about my terrible reading. I will try to pre-read next time. I just got this book tonight, so I wanted to go over it, but, oh, shoot, I don't know what I'm dilly-dallying about. This is the book. It's called Art and the Occult, which is very, very Lady Alchemy. Very, very Lady Alchemy. Okay, there's only 3 more pages. I want to finish this chapter up so that we can just start right into the next one next time. But yeah. We'll get through it. We'll get through it. So where am I at? I'm on page 36. Maybe you guys like to read along with me. So let me get this up for you. Just a few more pages. Okay, so this is where I am. We're talking about Don Juan and his insights. Quantum mechanics is the present already. Interesting. To observe is to perceive, to be aware of. That's interesting, Dan. Yeah, that also reminds me of a quantum physics little riddle. I'm sure some of you guys know it, but not sure if you know it. It's from quantum physics, but basically it's, you know, if a tree falls in a forest and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. And that's kind of part of the whole... when the double slit experiment happens, these subatomic particles start acting strangely the way that they shouldn't behave, that we don't know them to behave. But then once we monitor it, put like a camera to it or something, then it starts behaving normally again. And it's just one of those weird things, and it's kind of where that whole thing comes from. Oh, I'm so glad that you guys think the book is interesting. I was really worried that you didn't think it was. But I think we're going to get to some really fun stuff. This is kind of just prepping us for the concept of, you know, occult and art concepts, and trying to slowly get us in there, and then we're gonna start going with it. But yeah, we're talking about Don Juan here. What do we see? So what Don Juan means by seeing is, at heart, a vision of the inner structures of life. Their internal forms and rhythms, their archetypal images, their pulses and vibrations, until the gods and demiurges, demiurge, how do you say that? Become visible. All this cannot be evoked by logic or by reason, by process of induction or deduction. It can only be illuminated by that psychic perceptive working of the inner eye, that carnal aesthetic working of the hand through which magic becomes manifest. Yeah, man. I mean, that makes sense. I feel like it's a lot of art and performances like that too, where it's like you could technically learn how to do stuff, but it has to come, like, the understanding has to come from within. Same thing with calculus, actually, too, because you can memorize things. Like, you can memorize how to, like, do a derivative, but, like, you need to intuitively understand what a derivative is. You can memorize the definition and memorize how to do it, but you need to, like, intuitively understand the concept of calculus to really, like, get it, I feel like. You know what I mean? Oh, Eduardo, you're so sweet, guys. You're really sweet. I love you guys. This is good people that I'm starting to gather now. Okay, so for science, the psi field is an idea inexpressible by any image. The Greek letter psi was chosen for its very neutrality. In parallel, Don Juan told Castaneda, is that her name, to try to hear reality rather than to look at it, for he knew that the mental optical process is corrupted by appearances and associations. One resembles that the Old Testament forbade the making of graven images as a sacrilege before spirit, yet certain artists have managed to conjure up pure screens of rhythm, images of vibration that are not really images at all, and which might be called portraits of the psi dimension. Like Turner, Victor Hugo touched what the Eastern seers called the Tao, now alias psi. PSI? Psi. Using, let me get to the next page. 7. Okay, this is where we're at now. Misery said, oh man, calculus was my limit. I like it. That's a calculus joke. I love it. I love it. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so where are we at? Like Turner, we're talking about the artist Turner, remember, with the whole waves and oceans and the, like, crazy paintings like that. We all know Victor Hugo. So like Turner, Victor Hugo touched what the Eastern seers called the Tao, now alias psi. Using films or screens of lace, he invented the first collages and first, how do you say that? Frottages? Frottages? Collages? F-R-O-T-T-A-G-E-S. What the fuck is that? Frottages. So using films or screens of lace, he invented the first collages and first frottages in modern painting. Using thumbprints, he became the first Western cachiste? I don't know what these things are. It's an art thing. Using inks and folded paper, this figure down below, he produced those mysterious and semi-symmetrical forms which would only interest the world when reinvented a century later by the psychologist. Oh god, they're gonna make me say it. How do you guys say that psychologist for the ink blot test? What's the Rorschach? I don't know how to say it. I'm so bad at saying things. What's the ink blot test? Pronunciation. I don't know how to say these things.
Taking a Rorschach test. You all know what Rorschach tests are?
Rorschach.
A psychologist shows you
Rorschach.
some ink blots, they look like that, and asks what's
a deeply contentious Rorschach test.
Rorschach. It's a weird word. It's weird. Rorschach. Okay, Rorschach. I like it. Yeah, I would agree with that, Rio. He says, I didn't appreciate math until well after I left school. I guess I never had the privilege of a good teacher that was really passionate about sharing what could be so damn cool about it. I had some great teachers, I have to admit. Lady's voice is annoying. Wow, everyone didn't like her voice. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, it's like in my throat. It's all that smoking and shit, which makes me want to smoke again. So using ink blots and folded paper, he produced those mysterious and semi-symmetrical forms, which only interested the world when he reinvented a century later by the psychologist Rorschach. Hugo inscribed his initials in celestial composition of psi power. Wait. Oh, okay, that's the next page. I was like, what? 38. Alright, so this is his, like, inscription. In total psi power! Ah, Victor Hugo! Oh shit, what happened? Okay. So Hugo inscribed his initials in celestial composition of psi power, and depicted it on his own destiny as a primal surge of the wave. Oh, the next one. Okay, go down here. Yeah, the wave. Okay. Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo, the wave. 1857 Inc. It's in Paris at his mansion. Very nice, very nice. He juggled the ego and the cosmos with a leonine grace and a similar arrogance. Jean Cocteau could later say Victor Hugo was a madman who thought he was Victor Hugo. To see his 19th century illuminations as a precocious forerunner of abstract art would be at least partially error, for tau or psi flow through time, just as neutrinos pass through matter. Sorry, I think I got it. I think I've finally got it. For the tau or psi flow through time, just as neutrinos pass through matter. As we shall see, time and light are the media of the great unity. In this respect, it is a distortion to see the psi facades of Paul Klee, a Mark Tobey, a Manfred Schwartz, or a Henry Machaut, simply as examples of contemporary abstraction. Klee sought out the numinous in terms of vibrations, hence the energy screens of I don't know how to say things, and the Garden of the Chateau, figure 38. Okay, so wait, this is Klee, what we're talking about. So 39 is Klee, what are we talking about? Okay, so this guy, what did we just say about him? This is figure 37. So these are the energy screens. Okay. Klee sought out the numinous in terms of vibrations, hence the energy screens. Okay, so this has like vibrations. Okay, I got it. That's very vibratory. I see it. Ooh, and then there's the Garden of the Chateau. Look at that. This is Klee on the top. Oh, foot's falling asleep. Yeah, and the Garden of the Chateau. Tobey lived in the East, absorbed the sentient rhythms of Oriental calligraphy and transmuted their sense into passages of resounding light. Schwartz saw the creative fluid transmogrified in the glistening pebbles of the beach at Etretat, and alchemized what he saw into a timeless frieze of light beyond color. Figure 40. Which one's that? It's the one bottom right. Oh, it's not in color, so I don't know what this is supposed to look like. Tobey worked from east to west. Schwartz from west to east. Michaud. Michaux. I'm going to call him Michaud. Found his vibrations through the aegis of hallucinatory drugs. Okay. 41. Let's go to page 41. Okay, so this guy found this through hallucinatory drugs on the top one. Chinese ink on paper. It's in Paris. And Joseph Sima through a meditative sobriety on the bottom. And in more than one work, figure 42. Oh, that one's quite lovely. Look at that one. Very pointillism going on over there. And in more than one work, Sima chose to conceal an egg, occult symbol of generation and life, within the limitless psi swarm. In the same way, the primal power of light took Georges Seurat beyond the formal confines of pointillism, just as it took Hugo beyond the bounds of romanticism. Seurat's seated nude figure. Oh, oops, that's the one. That's Seurat. Okay. What was the other one? Oh, the egg thing that they were talking about was here. Do you see the egg? Boom. Look at that egg. Aww. Boom, egg. Okay, now we have Seurat. Seurat? Seurat. Seurat. And Hugo's Chateau of Cries in the Night. Oh, I actually really like that. I didn't know Victor Hugo painted. Is that weird or dumb of me? I didn't know that. I just thought he was a poet, and I thought he did like Notre Dame shit. But yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm sort of digging this. So we have that and this. Oop! And this. Okay, so what are they talking about? So they are different, each are different ways, architectures of the possibilities of light. Meanwhile, science has conjured its own magic in the form of laser beams, light honed to a power capable of sundering steel or of healing a retina. Wow, in 1975 they knew about healing retinas with freaking laser beams? That's weird. With such extremes of strength and delicacy are art and magic woven. Sorry about that. I'm going to be much more prepared for the next chapter. I'm so sorry. I had to struggle through that. There's a lot of names. There's a lot of esoteric shit to go through. And, yeah, my bad. I'm, like, so embarrassed. I want to, like, take down the stream. So, yeah. Let me go back to the cover of this. I mean, it's going to get into some fun stuff. I'm excited about it. We're really going to... I really like the whole topic of art and the occult. I think that's very Lady Alchemy. It's a great topic. I think so is this. I've showed you guys this a few times. We did this a long time ago, back in like winter, like February. We did one little bit about this, but it's pretty cool. It's the Philosophies of Art and Beauty, select readings in aesthetics. So art and beauty, art and occult, you know, stuff like that. Art history, you know, art in the nude. A lot of art topics. A lot of art topics to go through. It's really fun. What do you think, guys? What do you think? If you like to help and support the stream, keep this going. We've got a community going, and it really helps me out if you go to the link right here, streamlabs.com/Martina Markota TV, and you know, help out a little bit. It's always nice. Notice the checkerboards. Yes, I pointed that out in the beginning of the stream, Man of Action. That's right, that's right. And there's also pillars and the skeleton. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Okay, the chat was active, so it was successful. Still didn't get the payment. Let me see if I have it in here. No, I don't have anything from anyone right now, currently. Yeah, just have go on Gavin's show was the last thing someone said. But yeah, let's see. Oh, Optimus, thank you so much. Soul Drip, that's amazing. Cool, cool. Oh my god, Josh, you got trash for the RNC coverage too. Yeah, I think we're going to do the debates. It'll be really fun. Paul Waldo would be a huge Lady Alchemy fan. I mean, that's exactly what I thought of for Lady Alchemy. Was art and the occult. Make that shit happen. I became Lady Alchemy. I hope it makes an impact. I hope it makes an impact. I'll light this baby back up. Do I have a favorite philosopher? I mean, I like the classics like Socrates and Plato and shit, I guess. I don't know, I'd have to think about it a little bit more. I mean, other than like, do you consider Saint Germain a philosopher? I like Saint Germain. He's an alchemist. I love Saint Germain. I like Carl Jung, but that's more psychology, right? What do you guys say? Who are yours? Eduardo said that was a good question. Oh shit, we have the presidential debates in September. That's this month. Fuck. Alright. Alright. Okay. Jung was a psychologist, I'd call him a philosopher. Cool. Oh, yeah, that's a good one, Sam Jarvis. Yeah, I made a meme about that, actually. Yeah. I don't know how to say that name either. I only read that. I only know how to read it, so I'm not even gonna attempt. But yeah, that's a good one.
Come here, son.
Gotta get a chair cushion. Oh, Marcus Aurelius, I forgot about that. Remember when we went over that on stream? Yes, Marcus Aurelius. See, I gotta remember these things. I don't think about this that often. Marcus Aurelius, so good. Seneca, Plato, Aristotle. Yeah, I mean, I like the math ones too. So I like Pythagoras. I mean, was he a philosopher? I mean, I like those math people. I like Thomas Sowell, yeah. Hopefully I get people on during the debate streams. What do you... Oh, you mean like have people on the stream with me? Or like viewing? Because the RNC was fantastic. I think we had a lot of viewers and had a lot of fun. Oh, there's also Kant. I don't know how people say it. Damn, I want some low THC tree. It's quite nice, actually, just to puff on it, to be fair. That's why I would dilute it with tobacco, because I just like to puff on it. I don't want to just burn through it for no reason. Oh, thank you, Dan. That sounds interesting. He said, I'll send you some links about that university studying the effects of meditation on the double slit experiment. Wow. Cool. Cool. Rene Descartes, Voltaire. Okay. Edmund Burke is amazing on his perspective on how the French Revolution was going to go out of control before it happened. Cool. Yeah, we should do some philosophy streams. That would be great. It can be said Edmund Burke created modern day conservatism. Interesting, interesting. Okay, well, that's fun, guys. Thank you so much for coming in, and let's try to do something tomorrow. I'm going to see if I'm going to go to the Met or not. Keep you guys posted, and we'll take it from there. But see ya later. Bye.